What's up, guys? What of course you'll see is day 4 of the trip. This one here featured a nice storm. Started in South Texas and then drove up near Childress. This was the town of Paducah, an old resource town for oil, but when the oil dried up, many people left and the buildings dilapidated. It was almost like a time capsule stuck in the 70s or 80s all over again. This part here, of course, we stationed there for a while, and then we decided to chase this particular storm here, which was just north and east of Childress. We called that the Isosceles. You could see the nice hook echo start to develop, a signature of the tornado in that storm as we were chasing it. There was no warning on it at this point. This was when we were just south and east of it, I believe. We were just waiting for it to try and develop. You could see the rain curtains. You can see the strong shelf clouds start to develop. The storm just continued to strengthen on the radar as we were stationed far away, and it was basically approaching on our territory. We'll call it our territory. We didn't end up getting a tornado out of this, but this one still was a nice storm. You can see the movement. You could see the rotation in the clouds. You can see the rain curtains and the rain bands basically heading left as the storm is heading toward us. And as I shift to the left side of the screen, you can see the clouds moving. You see them? And as I shift to the left side of the screen, the clouds on that side were actually turning right, and they were further back in the cloud. So that's the telltale sign of rotation. You could see development start to occur. It just never actually panned out, which was disappointing. The chasers on this really felt this one was going to be one, because you could even see the telltale hook echo signature develop on the storm. It just didn't pan out. But tornadoes are rare for most storms, as you know, so it's not like they're going to spawn every time. But this one here had very strong rotation for the most part on when we were looking at it on the radar. Everyone there in the back was saying take a look at those rain curtains, because you could tell, like, look at the clouds, look at the movement. You can see how fast they were moving, and they were moving just as fast on the other side. These were some nice pictures here. That was a nice hail core there because of the turquoise. That was how dark and how menacing the clouds looked. That was rotating a bit, this particular cloud, which was interesting. This here was how windy it was. This was when the storm was really starting to get close to us. This was when we were on high alert, watching for tornadoes, watching for potential damages, while also getting in some nice pictures. That one there was an extreme rain signature. Those rain curtains were insane. This was the same storm we were following alongside it. Most of the other chasers were on this road. There was a bit of chaser convergence. We were following alongside this, basically trying to keep up with the storm, but also staying in an area that's also safe and not dangerous, of course. And we were also trying to outrun the rain. You could see the other chasers on the side of the road here. They were getting pictures up. You could see the quickly on. That's a nice rain curtain there. The gray on the right. That was extreme rainfall. Part of the reason we didn't, of course, go into the rainfall is because, well, first of all, there's usually hail associated with those rain cores, and if it's large hail, it'll damage your trucks, so that's why, of course, the chasers didn't want any part of that. And the other thing too is if a tornado was to spawn, say it spawned, it would have been rain wrap, which means you'd never see it. So you'd think you're driving into rainfall, and next thing you know, you're either blown off the road or dead. So you don't on a storm that has the look of rotation and has that look like it might potentially spawn a tornado, absolutely do not drive anywhere near the rain curtains. And if you're a regular civilian who doesn't really know what you're doing and you're not with guided storm chasing meteorologists, just avoid the whole damn thing altogether. It's just easier that way. I think I zoom in partly on, well, it takes a while. My camera, despite it being top tier, had a lot of dust and rainfall on the lens, so at times jumping in and out of the truck, it didn't zoom in exactly the way I wanted. This one was a little blurry as well, but you could see the extreme rainfall associated with it, the huge darkness on the clouds. This here was about 5 in the afternoon, so it was nowhere near dark. You can see the extreme rain going on there. These were the type of storms. There's more of it. This was more of the type of storms you encountered, of course, anyone who lives in South Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, that area. You already know the rainfall by now. You know how bad it was. You know how horrifying the month of May was in terms of rainfall. Well, these were the storms that basically gave you all that rainfall. Those were the telltale signs of just how badly the rain was falling here. And at this point here, I think this storm It actually did get stronger later on toward the night, but of course you don't chase after dark. So at this point here, I think we were just getting our last pictures, last view of videos, trying to see if it did actually spawn one, but I believe it was weakening on the Doppler, so we decided to pack up shop and go for steaks. But the clouds were nice. This one here was probably the most menacing storm we chased the whole time. It just didn't form a tornado. This one here was savage. It had the hook echo signature, it had rotation, it had extreme rainfall, it had extreme hail, which we were avoided a lot of it for the most part. But this one here, I think, of all the storms that was going to drop a nice tornado or a big tornado, there's some more chaser convergence as everyone sat up on this section here and watched the storm. But you could tell on the Doppler there, it's already starting to lose that hook echo signature. So at this point, we were just on our way back to, I think, Childress, Texas, or a local city nearby, but we were just keeping an eye out just to see if anything forms. There's more of the rain signatures, more of the rain curtains. Though that one just looked like a nice menacing cloud, so I decided to toss that one in. This one here is when we stopped for the very last time, because the storm, like I said, it was weakening. It was a rain and hail threat now, not so much wind and tornadoes. But this particular section, we were watching a rain band, the extreme rainfall, basically head right towards us. So we got our last pictures of it as it was headed towards us, jumped in the car. I stopped the video, and it basically headed toward us. That there was some, at that point it was low. The lake there actually was next to empty before we had decided to go chasing, and then it was already starting to build up, and it was going to continue to build up. That's more of that rain and hail core I was talking about. Look how extreme that is. You can't even see anything further down. It's nuts. Like, that's how heavy the rain and the hail core was down there. It was, you just can't see anything past it. It's so intense. I've never seen rainfall like this before, and I don't think I will unless I go again. It was an intense storm, but this one was the one I thought that was going to be the most intense, and it probably was the most intense of the ones we encountered. It just never actually developed into a more intense storm, which is good, I guess, in a way, because it minimizes the threat of anyone getting hurt. But this was in a very desolate area. There was next to nothing left, and that was their steakhouse we went to at the end. Hope you enjoyed. See you later.